Now, one of the things that we talked about in the last demo is we went ahead and added a picture directly into the post here. And what happened when we clicked that add media and added it is it put it into our library. So if we go over to media and we look at the library, you'll see that in fact the media that we added is going to already be there. And you see that these are the pictures that we had added, okay? And what I want to go ahead and show you now is if we wanted to add something directly to the media library without having to put it directly into a post, we can do that. So if I go over here to say add new, and I then select my files, and I can select all 4 of them at the same time, and click on open, and it's going to upload all 4 of them, and you'll see the progress bar. I could have also done a drag and drop, and either way, it doesn't matter really. And so I'm going to wait for these to upload. Okay, so now they're uploaded, and what you really should do for each one of these is click on it and go ahead and edit all of this information for the title, the caption, and the alt text. And I went ahead and did that really fast. And I want you to see something down here where it says edit more details. If I click on that, it gives me the actual page that if I were to have this file when clicked, like I can remember if you go back and think about how we added it to the post. When clicked, it'll give you the choice of opening a media file or an attachment page or whatever. Well, this is what we could do with the attachment page so that when that file is clicked and opened in an attachment page, we could actually have information about it. This is really good if your photography really matters, so that whenever someone clicks on a picture and it goes to an attachment page, that you don't just end up with, you know, something that says Coronado Ferry sign everywhere. And with the same picture that they saw in the post, you could give more information about it if you wanted to. You don't have to do that. I just wanted to go ahead and show you that as an option. So I'll hit the back button, and it takes me back here, and so I'm fine. And if I click on this little arrow, it takes me to the next thing that I had uploaded, and so I can go ahead here and do the same thing where I edit this, and I'll go ahead and give it a caption, alt text, and I can keep on doing this for each picture. And I've done that now for each picture, and I can close this, and then you'll see that this has in fact been added to the media area. And so if I were to go back now to my posts, I can go to all posts and I can find my post. You see it's right there at the top. Otherwise I could have used the search for it by searching for Coronado. If I go to that to edit it, I can go ahead and I can add stuff that I just created in the media library. So let's say that I decide that I want to add, maybe right about here, I could try to add something like a gallery. So I could go to add media, and instead of just doing like media library and just picking them individually, I could also go up here to say create gallery like this. And then I can select the ones that I want to add to my gallery like that. And I'm not going to choose the ones that I've already selected. And let's just go ahead and do that. And you can see that they all have names. That's really important with an alt text as well. So I'm going to say create gallery, and then I'm going to say insert gallery, but I could also change the order by dragging and dropping. So really it doesn't matter. If you wanted to move stuff around, you could also tell it to have a random order. And I'm going to tell it to have 2 columns, and we're going to choose the thumbnail. You could also tell it to put in medium-sized images or the large ones, however you want. We're just going to say insert gallery, and you'll see how this ends up showing up. And we can go ahead just really quickly and update this and take a peek at it. Over here, I'm going to hit refresh, and then we'll see how this page ends up looking. And remember, it's a post, even though I just called it a page. All right, and so as soon as this thing loads, take a look at it. And you see it's got this gallery down here, and maybe what we should have done instead is have 4 across. That would have been more ideal as an option. And you know, there are other things that you could do too. So let's jump back over here. Oh, and by the way, if you click on it, you'll see what the native behavior is. It's going to take it to the actual attachment page. And so if you have a problem with the way that works, there are also some plugins that you can use that will automatically make your attachments open up in an overlay window using JavaScript. And it's a really simple thing to have happen. So if I wanted to come down here, I could go ahead and click on my gallery somewhere, and I can say edit, and you'll see I can choose how many per column. So let's do 4 per column, and we'll update the gallery. Oh, and we could also say link to media file if we didn't like the attachment page. This is something though that you might have to set special based on how, if you decide to use a plugin, how your plugin wants you to set that up. So we could do something like this and update it and check it out and see what it looks like. And we'll come back over here and refresh the page, and you can see how this looks now. And so you could do something like this. The other thing that you could also do, if you wanted, like maybe down at the bottom, you could also add something like some YouTube video. So I want to show you how you can just embed something really quickly. So I found a video on YouTube that I think might be useful on a page like this. And if you go down to where it says share, it's going to natively show you this, but you can click on embed, and right here it's got this preview that doesn't normally show. See where it says show less or more? All right, you would click on show more if you wanted to see what the settings were. You want to make sure that player controls are selected, and you also want to show the video title and player actions, and you typically don't want to show suggested videos when the video finishes. Otherwise you get a bunch of ad looking things. And so you can suggest what video size it is. If you want it to be really small at first, you can do that. We'll go ahead and make it full size, and then we'll copy this code up here. And by the way, I just want to show you something. After the query mark or the question mark, when it says REL equals 0, that means that it is the setting to disable suggested videos. So it's basically saying that it's not going to show related videos. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to copy that, and we'll go back into my view here, and you'll notice that I can't really just paste that in. Now, one of the things that WordPress does allow is you could paste in the share link here, and it would show the video, but I can't really control the settings as well. So if I jump into text and I go down to the very bottom and I come down, like let's say here, paste it, you'll see that it puts in an iframe and it gives a specific width and height. Now, by default, the newer versions of WordPress will, well, especially the default themes, they have what's called FitVids built into it, and what it does is it'll fit videos or iframes like these inside of your page responsively. So you don't necessarily have to go and find something that'll do that, but if you find a problem where your videos or maps or something like that aren't fitting properly, then you can use a thing called FitVids. So I'm going to refresh this page and we'll see how it turns out. And there's our YouTube video at the very bottom of the page, and so now we've got some content on that page. And if I wanted to rescale it to just see what happens and make sure nothing terrible happens to my video, you can see that it's still keeping its aspect ratio and it still looks okay. Okay, now this might be a problem for you, so you might decide that you want to do something different with the image if it really starts to look bad, but anyway. All right, so now we have a fully completed post, and we can start to think about how we want to add the rest of the content that we have already written, like for the articles and so forth. So I'm going to go back in here. I'll go back to the visual WYSIWYG. And now I can go back to categories, and I'm going to go ahead and finish adding all of my categories so that we can get the hierarchy correct. Okay, now, and something else that I did notice is that everything is capitalized except dog friendly is not, coastal area is not, and so forth. So I'm going to do a quick edit on that. And only one I'm going to capitalize is the name, not the slug. And so I'll update the category, and I can do the same thing for coastal area as well. And I'll capitalize both. And then I'll also capitalize city just in case city ends up popping up. So I'll do a quick edit like this. Okay, and now I already know several of the cities and coastal areas. So what I'll go ahead and do is start adding some of those. So I know, for instance, that Imperial Beach is one of them. So I'll add Imperial Beach, copy that, and I'll paste it down here. But if you remember, I said it's a good practice not to use capital letters for the slug, and you can't use a space, so I put a dash there. And I'm going to make the parent of that city. All right, and I'll just say add new category. And then you'll see that it shows up as a child under city. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that for all the other ones so you don't have to watch me type everything. Okay, so I went ahead and I added everything, and what you'll see is we have city as a parent, and then the cities that all of the beaches encompass are in La Jolla, San Diego, Oceanside, Imperial Beach, and Coronado. And the other thing you'll notice is we have coastal areas of West County, North County, South Bay, and then we've got dog friendly. And one of the things that you might realize if you were to look at the file system, you'd realize that some stuff feels like it's missing in terms of things like Ocean Beach, Pacific Beach. Those are neighborhoods though, technically. And so we have to decide if that's something that's important to us. And I think it probably would be if people were looking in searchable tools, we might want to add that. And that wasn't something that was in our original plan, but I think that that might be a smart thing to do. So we could say neighborhood, because that's exactly what they really are neighborhoods. So I'm going to copy this, paste it, and then it's no longer a child of something, and so we need to add a new category. And then this is where we could go and once it's updated, we can add some children, and I'm going to do that real fast. And you see now we've got under neighborhood, we have PB or Pacific Beach and Ocean B or OB. Okay, so now this is a nice thing that we have already set up and easy to use whenever we go to create new posts. So let's go ahead and pretend like you're going to watch me do that, and I'll create some new content. Okay, so now I've done that, and let's take a look at what I have created. So if I go to all posts, you will see that I have something for Scripps Pier, Oceanside Pier, Ocean Beach Pier, Imperial Beach, Crystal Pier, and Pacific Beach, and the Coronado Ferry Landing. So I've got several of these posts, at least 6, right? And the thing that I'm missing now, and if you wanted to take a look and see how they appear, then you can. So you can see we've got Oceanside Pier, for instance. You can look and see how that looks. And there's some other ones, like we could look under the PB, and then if I do a search like that, then you can see that it comes up like with the full blog. Okay, so anyway, the idea is that I've got all of my content created now, and if I go back over here to my backend, what I can do at this point is go ahead and start creating some of the pages that we talked about. Now, to do that, I need to go over here under Pages and say Add New. And one of the pages that we talked about making was something about the author. And one of the things that I had considered as a sort of future proofing is maybe there are going to be other contributors. So instead of saying about the author and having that link change and the title and everything change, what I could do instead is I could say contributors. Okay, so I'm going to call that page contributors. And then what I could do is I could have a profile of myself for right now, and then anybody who is a new contributor we can add. And then later, of course, if we decided to do something where we have a theme that can list a page of users that are contributors, then we could do something like that. But for right now, this is going to work. And if you wanted to come on down here, I went ahead and I just copied something that is off of a profile for my teaching. All right, so that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing specifically for this project. I might have wanted to say something a little bit more specific, but this will work because it really is truly about me. The other thing is I'd probably want to put some sort of graphic in there, maybe a picture of myself. That just sort of makes it a little bit more personal. We'll go ahead and move into that for the next part of the demo, and we'll get into a little bit more stuff that you can do with pages.